GeoBrax, doing the geography and also the Brax, yeah.
The man, the myth,
Let's get it on now.
the absolute legend.
Let's get noisy in here. The first round's about to start. Welcome to episode 4 of the Global Cities Tournament 2024. You've been waiting for this moment. We're all excited. I am pumped. Gotta get the blood flowing. We gotta get ready because the matchups are about to begin.
Yes, sir. The first round begins with number 60 Xi'an taking on number 143 Lyon. Xi'an survived an all-China matchup in the opening round, sweeping Tsingtao out of the tournament. Can they continue a run to get back to the third round as they did in GC 2020? Lyon, the second largest city in France, will have a lot to say about that. In GC 2020, Lyon only made the tournament through a wildcard berth, but they defeated Kiev in the opening round before losing to Houston in the first round. They are looking to take it a step further this time, but that would take an upset of the higher-ranked, much larger city Xi'an. In the second matchup of the day, we have the sole representative from the country of Qatar. That is Doha, number 139, who were unceremoniously swept out of the first round in GC 2020 by Frankfurt. They can only improve this time around, but they're going to have to do so against the number 29 seed Madrid. Madrid is the largest of the Spanish cities taking part in this year's tournament. In GC 2020, Madrid defeated Tunis and Hanoi before losing to eventual champion Seoul in the third round. Our third matchup of the day features number 37 Houston, Texas, from the United States of America. In the previous tournament, Houston defeated Lyon before getting the broom from Lima. Houston's first round opponent this time around is the sole representative from the country of Finland. That is number 123 Helsinki. Helsinki is looking to improve upon a very brief appearance in GC 2020 when they were swept by Wuhan. In the final first round matchup in Section 1 of Quadrant 1, we have the sole representative from Nigeria, Lagos, making its debut. Lagos is ranked 135th by Justin O'Byrne, and in GC 2020, they lost in the first round to Shanghai. Lagos's opponent will be the defending champion Seoul, who have grabbed the number 8 seed in this edition after having won the title as a number 17 seed back in GC 2020. The list of victims for Seoul is long, beginning with Manchester, Seattle, Madrid, New York City, Istanbul, Beijing, and London. But notably, one thing that Seoul did not have to do in the previous tournament was defeat an African opponent. So that presents a new challenge. Are the defending champions up to it? With 4 cities ranked outside of the top 100, you would have to imagine that the favorites for today's matchups are Xi'an, Madrid, Houston, and Seoul. But, as we know in this tournament, anything could happen, but probably not to Seoul.
Lyon versus Xi'an. Five. $13. 15. 3. 5. Extra. 2. 'In the first matchup of the first round, we have Xi'an taking on Lyon. The first category is drawn by my dear friend Not Ripped is which city's airport is closest to the city center. Lyon's major airport, LYS, is 30.2 kilometers away from the city center, And Xi'an's major airport, XIY, is 36.7 kilometers away, Lyon, with a 1-0 lead. The second category is drawn was the total Michelin stars that the city's restaurants have. And in Xi'an, that's a 0. In Lyon, it's a 24. So the French city takes a 2-0 lead. Third category is which city has fewer carbon emissions per capita? With 5.6 tons of carbon dioxide released per capita in Lyon, that is good enough to get through Xi'an, who had 7.3 tons of carbon dioxide per capita, which means Lyon brought out the brooms and for the first time ever is going to the second round. Doha versus Madrid. $14. $10. $16. $13. $2. Extra. Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. $4. In our second matchup of the day, we have Doha taking on the first seeded city to make its appearance in this tournament, number 29 seed, Madrid from Spain. The first category, as drawn by Knott, was Happy City Index, where Doha finished 136th out of the 200 cities on the list. Madrid, 95th, good enough for a 1-0 lead to Madrid. Second category was a great one for this matchup. Which city has the busier airport? In Doha, the Hamad International Airport receives 45.9 million passengers per year. And in Madrid, the Barajas Airport receives 60.2 million passengers per year, good enough for a 2-0 lead to Madrid. In the third category is the public transit rating. Both cities are on this ranking list done by the Oliver Wyman Forum. Madrid finished 28th out of the 65 cities listed, and Doha finished 45th. So for the second straight tournament, Doha is swept in the first round, and that means Madrid is going to the second round. Houston versus Helsinki. $9. $8. $7. $5. $1. Extra. 11. Our next matchup features the first of two cities from Texas. That is going to be number 37, Houston, who will be facing off against the only city from Finland in this tournament, number 123, Helsinki. The first category is drawn by Knott, is the highest ranked university. Houston has the 136th ranked university, that is Baylor College of Medicine. And in Helsinki, the University of Helsinki is ranked 99th. That is a 1-0 lead to the Finnish city. The second category is which city's 3 tallest buildings have the combined tallest height. In Helsinki, those buildings are the Maijaka building, the Loisto building, and the Lumo 1 building. In Houston, it's the JP Morgan Chase Tower, the Wells Fargo Bank Plaza, and the Williams Tower, which, bonus trivia, is the tallest building outside of the Central Business District in the entire world. Houston wins this category easily with a combined height of 882 meters. In Helsinki, only 378 meters. We're tied at 1. The third category is which city has the larger company headquartered in its city. In Houston, they have the 74th largest company according to the Global 500. That is Phillips 66, global revenues of $115 billion a year. And in Helsinki, the largest company headquartered there is the Nordea Bank, where they gross $12.7 billion per year. However, there is a company in Finland larger than Phillips 66, but it is in the city of Espoo. That is not Helsinki, so it's a 2-1 lead to Houston, Texas. In the fourth category, it's which city's airport is closer to the city center. IAH Airport in Houston is 32.7 kilometers away from the city center. In Helsinki, the HEL Airport is 20.5 kilometers away from the city center, which means we are tied at 2, and we're getting subjective with it. Category that was drawn by Not for subjectivity is best slogan and nickname combination. Helsinki's slogan is sort of a backhand compliment to itself. The tourist board there made a slogan saying, "No one in their right mind would visit Helsinki in November, except for you, you ass. Welcome." It's a great slogan, but it's also highlighting a negative aspect of Helsinki, which is how terrible the winters are. Let's go to their nicknames. Daughter of the Baltic. White City of the North, which is not because of the snow, but because of the color of the buildings. Let's see what Houston has to offer. We have an unofficial slogan of Be Someone. We have city nicknames. Space City. Bayou City. Be Someone. Space City. It's short. It's punchy. It's better. That's a 3-2 win for Houston, who's going back to the second round. Lagos versus Seoul. Six. 17. 1. 5. 2. 4. 'Hear ye, the champs have returned!' Number 8 seed Seoul is taking on Lagos. In the first category in their title defense is going to be gross domestic product per capita. In Lagos, it is very low. It's $3,607 gross per capita. In Seoul, $36,677, 1-0 lead. The second category is the quality of living ranking. Seoul, South Korea finished 81st on that list. Lagos, Nigeria finished 218th on that list. So Seoul just one category away from yet another victory in their tournament history. The third category is which city's average high monthly temperature is closest to 23 degrees Celsius. This could be an issue for Seoul, a bit colder than most cities, 17.38, but Lagos, you're feeling the heat. 30.58 Celsius is the average high monthly temperature, which is farther away from 23 degrees. So Seoul, you're back to the second round.
Beginning play in Quadrant 1, Section 2, we have a first round matchup featuring the number 9 seed, Hong Kong. Hong Kong made it to the round of 16 in GC 2020, defeating Accra, Pune, Nanjing, and then only falling to Istanbul via a panel discussion. Hong Kong's opponent is number 104 Brisbane, the 4th ever city from Australia to make it into this tournament. However, this is Brisbane's debut, and it will be a tall order to get past the number 9 overall seed. The next matchup features the sole representative from Peru. That is Lima, a city that made it on a surprising run to the 3rd round in GC 2020, defeating Taipei and Houston before losing to London. Taipei and Houston are both ranked in the top 40 this time around, as is the city opposing Lima, Brussels, the sole representative from Belgium. Brussels were swept in the first round in the previous tournament by Chengdu, so they are hoping to improve upon that. In the third matchup of this section, number 39, Kuala Lumpur begins its journey. Kuala Lumpur nearly made it to the 3rd round in the previous tournament after having defeated Belo Horizonte before losing to Hangzhou in the 5th category. Kuala Lumpur is the sole representative from Malaysia, and their opponent is the sole representative from Portugal. That is Lisbon, who come in at number 77 in the rankings. Lisbon defeated Monterrey in GC 2020 before being eliminated by Singapore. Our final matchup of the day features one of the 2 Vietnamese cities in this tournament, that is number 83, Ho Chi Minh City. In the previous tournament, Ho Chi Minh defeated Vancouver in a sweep before getting swept by Moscow. Can they take out another Canadian city? The number 26 overall seed, Toronto, will be waiting for them in the first round. Toronto is one of 4 representatives from Canada, and Toronto were able to advance past Yangon before losing to Budapest in 5 categories in GC 2020. Unlike in Section 1, Section 2 features only 1 city outside of the top 100, and that is debutante Brisbane. Expect some close matchups, especially in the 2 matchups featuring those 4 cities who are the sole representatives of their countries.
Hong Kong versus Brisbane. Four. One. Seven. One. Two. Extra. 10. Kicking off Quadrant 1, Section 2's first round, we have the number 9 overall seed, Hong Kong, taking on the debutantes from Brisbane. The first category is a miserable one for Brisbane. Its highest population density. Brisbane only has 159 people per square kilometer. That is very much the opposite of dense. Hong Kong, 6,100 people per square kilometer. It's a 1-0 lead to Hong Kong. Second category was crime index. Pretty good one for Brisbane, only 36.8. But Hong Kong, an absurdly low 21.9, one of the lowest in the world. It's a 2-0 lead for Hong Kong. And the final category is an economic category. It is the largest company headquartered in the city. For Brisbane, that is Suncor Group. They have revenues of $14.7 billion per year. However, China Resources, the 70th largest company according to the Global 500, brings in $119.6 billion per year. That is 3 categories for Hong Kong. That is a sweep. That is on to the second round with you. Lima versus Bruxelles. Three. 12. 11. 13. One. Extra. 9. The next matchup features Lima versus Brussels, two capital cities. And the categories begin with the rainy days per year closest to the target of 120. Brussels is pretty wet, it rains too much. 194, that's 74 away. But Lima's score is 104 away from the target. It only rains 16 days per year, and Lima has entirely too few. It's a 1-0 lead to Brussels. The second category is how many foreign tourists a city receives in a calendar year. In the year 2022, Lima received 1.93 million, and Brussels 1.16 million. We're tied at 1. It's getting interesting. Third category is the combined heights of the 3 tallest buildings in the city. In Peru, in Lima, it is Torre Banco de la Nación, Edificio BBVA, and the Hotel Westin Libertador. Oh, that's not a good sign when a hotel is the third largest building. In Brussels, it is the South Tower, the Finance Tower, and the PU site. Very boring names and a pretty boring height combined of 437 meters. But that's going to best Lima's score of 397 meters, so Brussels is up 2-1. And the fourth category is total Michelin stars. And arguably, Peru has the best cuisine in the world, but Lima does not have any Michelin stars. It seems like an enormous oversight by the Michelin people. But Brussels has quite a few. 38 is a very, very high score for total Michelin stars. And that is the third category to Brussels, who are going on to the second round. Kuala Lumpur versus Lisbon. Twelve. 1. 2. 3. 3. Extra. 6. 'The third matchup of this section features 2 more capital cities, Kuala Lumpur versus Lisbon. In the first category is the number of foreign tourists that each city receives per year. And in 2022, they both got 5.4 million. It's not usually a category that ends up in a draw, but on to the next one, crime index. Kuala Lumpur's is very high for an Asian city, surprisingly so, 61.9. Lisbon, 29.8. An easy category there to Lisbon. The third category is most species of birds living in the city. KL wants to hear that one when they're behind, that's for sure. 440 species of birds in KL, and in Lisbon, 261. We're tied at 1. Next category is which city is closest to the target of 120 rainy days per year. Lisbon, 113 rainy days per year. That's pretty on the nose. And in Kuala Lumpur, it never stops raining. 212 days per year. Yeah. It's a 2-1 lead to Lisbon. We have to go to the extra category because we saved the subjective categories for 2-2 ties. The extra category is drawn by my dear friend Not. Was gross domestic product per capita 6,575 in Kuala Lumpur, 36,146 in Lisbon, and they're going to win 3 out of the 5 categories with 1 drawn, which means Lisbon going back to the second round. Ho Chi Minh City versus Toronto. 13. 2. 11. 2. 1. Next one. 3. 'In the final matchup of the day, we have Ho Chi Minh City taking on Toronto, the number 29 overall seed in this tournament. First category is total Michelin stars, a category that seems to advantage the European and North American cities, but Ho Chi Minh does have 2 total Michelin stars. Toronto, 16, takes the category up 1-0. The next category is most species of birds. Toronto did pretty well, 382. Ho Chi Minh did better, 464. We're tied at 1. Third category is which city has the most visited museum. The War Remnants Museum is the candidate from Ho Chi Minh City, receiving about 500,000 per year. And the number 1 most visited museum in Canada is the Royal Ontario Museum in Toronto. 1.44 million visitors per year, 2-1 lead at Toronto. The fourth category is Healthcare Index. Ho Chi Minh a respectable 60.3, but Toronto a much more respectable 74.8. And that means Toronto is going to the second round. Thank you all for being here for episode 4. Episode 5 comes out next because that's how math works. We're down to 120 cities in this tournament. We are going to have the next 8 matchups in episode 5. So please follow along with the brackets progress on challenge.com/GCT24. As always, you can look at the research done on these episodes on our Discord. See you guys next time on GCT24.